Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike the intern, Ned Reynolds in the studio. Thursday morning, there has been another move on the Kansas side of the border to try and lure the Chiefs and Royals over to the Kansas side. What do you think about this latest move?
I think Missouri had better wake up and realize this is the real deal. Now, it's not going to happen right away if it did, or if it does, and I really feel down deeply that it won't. But if it were to happen, Kansas is very aggressive in making this move. Well, one thing, it's going to help their economy. Number two, their legislature has unanimously approved their Star Bond plan. Star Bonds are a special type of bond where you absorb the profit now, but you pay for it later. That's really a simplified way of putting it. But the fact is that it is a viable circumstance. Now, if this were to happen, it wouldn't be until the 2030s when the Royals lease runs out in 2031, I believe, and the Chiefs may as well. But the fact is that Kansas is very aggressive in making this move, and they are planning on putting together a very attractive stadium circumstance not too very far away from the racetrack there if these and the bonds have been approved. But again, if Missouri can get their act together and realize, hey, this is a serious bid now. It's not a joke. It's not a media-driven situation. It has happened where the legislature has approved it. They better get serious about this because it could, in fact, result not in leaving the Kansas City area, but leaving it on the Missouri side.
One of the arguments that I've heard against the fact that they'd move is the fact that Clark is such a traditionalist. Yeah. You know, we don't get the weird, crazy logo jerseys. He's like, don't touch the colors. Don't the tradition of Kansas City and what my father started here. He is huge on that. So I know that they made a really attractive offer. At the same time, I think he stays in Kansas City.
That's why, Mike, I'm share your opinion because, after all, you do have to honor the tradition of the Chiefs. They came here to Kansas City in 1962 and to Dallas and have been there and successfully ever since. All that figures into the mix, and that's why I think it's unlikely, but you never say never.
Never say never. You are absolutely right about that. So it was pretty much all and has been all Tennessee since the beginning of the regular season, and that's continued into the postseason for those guys.
Well, they're a very, very, very good baseball team, but so is the team they're going to play.
That's true.
This will be the championship at the College World Series in Omaha. A couple of days off now, and then the championship, which is a best of three, begins on Saturday. And it is two Southeastern Conference teams, both of which went right through the tournament undefeated at 13-0, Tennessee and Texas A&M. Now, they're both conference, but they did not play each other during the regular season. They did play each other in the conference postseason tournament down at Hoover, Alabama, and Tennessee won that one. But the fact is that Texas A&M is very good. They knocked out Florida State and have earned the bid to play the Volunteers for the championship. It'll be a very good series. I think Tennessee is probably the stronger of the two teams. I picked them to start. Both have been the number one team in America at one time this year. Texas A&M succeeded Arkansas as number one in the country, and Tennessee succeeded Texas A&M as number one in the country to end the season. So both have very strong rosters, very strong teams. Should be a dynamite College World Series.
Absolutely. Last but not least, it's a very tough thing to get involved into the PGA tournament. So I already know the answer to this question, but why do you think the PGA allowed Tiger Woods some special exemptions?
This is exemptions for 8 of the PGA's special events. Now, keep in mind, the PGA does not govern the Masters nor the U.S. Open. They're different organizations, and certainly not the British Open. But they do oversee, for instance, the Travelers this weekend and the what used to be the Crosby Clambake, the AT&T, Pebble Beach, those tournaments they do oversee. They have granted Tiger Woods eight exemptions. Now, wait a minute. That means he doesn't have to qualify? Nope, doesn't have to qualify, and he would have to otherwise because he slipped badly in the world rankings. Why did they do that? Because he is Tiger Woods.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get some kind of coverage no matter what, as opposed to some guy.
The PGA knows fully well what he is. He's won 15 majors. He's the name of golf. No, he may not be competitive as such anymore. He's 48 years old, and He just hasn't played enough. But the fact is they want him in there, big for the TV ratings, so let's give him a special exemption.
I started our conversation about the Missouri baseball teams with the fact that both of them currently are playing probably the two weakest teams in baseball. Both lost the first game of the series. And here we sit to talk about how they both lost game 2 in those series. Let's start with the Cardinals.
Well, the Cardinals have absolutely no business losing any games to the Miami Marlins, and yet they lose a series, 2 out of 3. Lost yesterday. All were one-run games. 2 of them were high-scoring yesterday. Started out high-scoring, and the first 2 Miami batters hit home runs in the first inning. For a couple of pitches. Of course, there's a reason why. Matt Liberatore, who got the start, was an emergency starter. He hadn't warmed up or done anything, so you give him the benefit of the doubt there. But nonetheless, the Cardinals don't have any business dropping these games the way they did, and I'll tell you, they have some problems on this ball club. It's problems of a mix in the lineup, and the fact that the manager does not let his starting pitchers go all the way. The bullpen is used in virtually, if not literally, every game that they play. Now, that can come back to haunt you. You say to him, he says his excuse is he's saving these guys for the long run, August and September. What, the long run out of last place? Is that what you're looking for? Because that's where the Cardinals are. They're not playing well. Nolan Arenado, who is arguably he's certainly the highest paid, but one of the biggest stars on the team, got nailed in the elbow by a fastball yesterday, went down. I don't think he broke anything, but regardless of that, he may not be available tonight. Kyle Gibson is going to get the start tonight. And tonight's game is at Rickwood Field in Birmingham, Alabama. This is the commemorative game for the Negro Leagues, and it's a very big deal. This is the one that Willie Mays was supposed to be there and sent his regrets and then passed away the next day, which was Tuesday. So it's a big gathering. Rickwood is the oldest baseball stadium in the country, the oldest one. Seats about 9, 10, 11,000, somewhere around there. But the Cardinals will play the Giants tonight. Game counts. It's a regular season game, but it's also a commemorative game. They'll take tomorrow off, and then the series. These are home games for the Cardinals. They'll move to St. Louis for the final 2.
Speaking of series, hopefully the Royals can avoid a sweep against the A's, because the A's got 2 out of the 3, and they play that final one today.
And Oakland won last night, 5-1. The Royals are in a slump. There's no question about that. Every team goes through slumps, and now the Royals are in one. They played so very well at the start of the season and did such wonderful things and had everybody excited. Now remember, we put a damper on that by saying, hey, they're young, and these things can happen. They can win. They're a tough team. They're a good team. But are they ready to be a contender yet? I really don't think so. Still, they're going to win more than they lose. I really feel like they will. Bobby Witt Jr. and company, and hey, they've got the good mix of the team. They still have to get mentally mature. Now, the Springfield Cardinals, as you thought might happen, got rained out in Corpus Christi last night. Corpus Christi has, 10 inches of rain or something like that, and Corpus Christi's right on the South Texas coast. So, let's see, I'm looking at the numbers now, 3.1 inches, something like that. Anyway, will they be able to play today? If they do, it'll be a doubleheader starting at 4:30. Now, the Springbirds are no longer in second place. They are now in third place in the Northern Division. The Tulsa Drillers have come out of nowhere and supplanted Springfield, because the Cardinals were rained out, supplanted them in the challenging position of second place. Now, that can all change tonight because of the variance in the schedule. But it's the Arkansas Travelers who lead, Tulsa Drillers second, Springfield Cardinals third. Springfield has to win. There are 5 games remaining. They have to win them. There's no question about it.
Last question. Where are we doing our racing this weekend?
Racing is going to be in New Hampshire at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway in Loudonville. This is the USA 301. It's a big event on Sunday. It is one of the Cup races, as all of them are at this time of the year, one of the points races. That'll be a big one. And yes, they're going into New England to do their racing.
Ned, you have a wonderful Thursday, and I will see you tomorrow.